What is going on, guys? Welcome to Microsoft Flight Simulator X Steam Edition. We are going to be going to the Learning Center and we are going to be learning how to fly. We're going to go to the lessons here. It's lesson 1, straight level flight. Now, I've already read over all this pre-flight material. Now, this goes into the basics of aerodynamic and how each of the dials work and, all that good stuff. Now, it's all the very basic dials. You get your airspeed indicator, your artificial horizon, altimeter, your turn coordinator, which is very important. We've got our compass and heading, and we got our vertical speed indicator. So those are the 6 dials we're going to be using today. Not as much the turn indicator. Good lord, that is loud. Let's go ahead and get into the lesson. We're going to go ahead and get into the lesson here. I'm going to pause him as soon as he loads up. But anyways, those are the gauges we're going to be using today. I do have the stick cam. Now we are going to be possibly moving around the stick cam if I can get a camera tripod. But I don't have a camera tripod right now for it. So right now it's just on top of the big monitor pointing down at the stick. But that way you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm going to go ahead and pause him before he starts talking. Now another thing I like to do is actually go to the virtual cockpit. And then we are going to zoom out, zoom out, zoom out, zoom out, zoom out. There we go. So that way I can actually see what's going on. You guys can actually see what's going on. We could actually go zoomed all the way out, but that's just a little bit too small for my taste. But that's just about perfect. We do have the thing on the throttle here where I can look. Now I can also use the hat switch to look around. But I prefer that this way that I can, just use a little rocker that's on the back of my throttle here. And I can look, wherever I need to, including directly behind me to each direction. So that should work out perfect. All right, so we got everything. I've already mapped all of my buttons. I've got my trim. I've got this button, whatever the hell that does. I've got my landing gear. I've got flaps, increase and decrease over there. I don't really have anything here except for the brakes. I do want to get left brake and right brake for taxiing, but we will do that later on. I think I'm going to put that to these 2 hat buttons here, but we're going to see where this is going to be something as we go. I might change up the buttons that I have mapped. So, you might be seeing me do my trim up here one video, and the next video you're seeing me reach down here to do trim, and you're like, oh Fox, why'd you switch that up? Well, I use I might say I use flaps more than I use the trim, which is not true. You're definitely gonna use your trim more than using your flaps, but for just using that as an example. But let's go ahead and sit back, get our first flying lesson here. Now a little bit of background before we get into this. I did, whenever I was a kid, I learned all of this. I went through Microsoft Flight Simulator's flight lessons. These are the exact same lessons that I did as a kid back in like 2004, 2005 time frame. But it has been, 14, 15 years since then. So I don't remember hardly any of it at all. So that's why we're starting off from square one. Hopefully in the future, Doc Rhino was talking about, Fox, you going to be doing VATSIM network? Absolutely in the future, but not right now, not just yet. So until then, we're going to do these. We're going to do these lessons one at a time and go through it. Now, this is going to be the only intro to the flying lessons that I'm going to give. All the other videos are going to say, hey, we're doing this. If you haven't seen the first video, go back, watch all the videos. But all right, guys, we are going to hit unpause and see what he has to say. Now, this is a real-world flight instructor. He teamed up. Let me lower down my chair here. There we go. They teamed up with Microsoft Flight Simulator to do these lessons here. So we're going to be listening to him. He's a real-world flight instructor. Really funny guy, too. If you watch any of his stuff on YouTube, look him up. But his name is Rod. We'll get his name during one of these videos. But yeah, look him up. Real funny guy. Really good guy. But yeah, let's get back to the lesson here.
In this lesson, we're going to learn how to fly straight and level. Shall we proceed full speed ahead? Not so fast, rocket pants. I've got the airplane, so you just relax a bit. We're here in the Cessna 172 in the beautiful Puget Sound region of western Washington. Imagine, if you will, that we've just taken off from Bremerton National Airport just west of Seattle. We're going to learn what it looks like to fly level, how to use the joystick to change our pitch, and lastly, I'll introduce you to your new best friend, besides me, your instructor, of course, the trim wheel. Right now, I need you to check your keyboard and make sure the num-lock light is lit. When that light is on, we can use the keys on the numeric keypad to look around while we fly. Press and hold the 4 key for a moment. See how the horizon is level relative to the windowsill? Release the 4 key and press the 6 key. Those are the Olympic mountains out there. Now, they're
He's so pretty. These were cutting-edge graphics for back then.
Release the 6 key and look at the attitude indicator. The attitude indicator displays the airplane's bank or the angle the wings make with the horizon, and its pitch or the amount the nose points up or down. I'm going to keep the airplane flying straight, but I want you to change your pitch. That is, the airplane's pitch attitude. Now then, if you don't have a joystick, be sure to turn the num-lock off again so that you can fly the airplane in just a second when I ask you to.
Yeah, back without joysticks, you'd have to be flying with the num key right now. I could not imagine.
This represents the airplane's nose. Right now, it's a little
I could not imagine doing that.
Represents the horizon. This means we're most likely in level flight, thus holding a constant altitude. We can tell our altitude is constant by looking at the altimeter, located just to the right of the attitude indicator. The altimeter's large hand, the 100-foot hand, isn't moving, nor is the needle in the VSI, or the vertical speed indicator, moving. This indicates that we're in level flight. Now let's try an experiment. I want you to gently pull the joystick back about ½ an inch from its center position and hold it there. Now watch the response.
If I remember right, he wants you to keep it between the second and third dot. If you go pretty much any below that, he'll start yelling at you.
Note the airplane pitches up. The miniature airplane in the attitude indicator pitches up too. Now look at the altimeter. The 100-foot hand is moving clockwise, which indicates
this is
that
about
your altitude is increasing. Immediately below the altimeter is the
climb angle.
Speed indicator, and its needle indicates a climb.
I could actually trim this out to where it's
now
maintains this,
nose downward,
but we're not there long enough to do it.
Push on the joystick about ½ an inch from its center position. Hold it there and watch the response.
A little bit too far. A little bit too far. It's going to start trimming out here in just a second. I'm waiting for that trim to kick in. As that trim starts kicking in, then I'm going to do. See how it's trying to pull it back up? That's the trim. So now I'm going to slowly keep pushing forward here.
Down, and the attitude indicators.
But I waited for the trim. I waited for the trim. That way it wasn't.
The altimeter rotates counterclockwise, thus indicating.
I'm going to try to maintain 120.
And the vertical speed indicator also points downward, indicating a descent. Okay, return the joystick to its center position.
All right, now it should trim back out to about 100 knots. Yeah, it's going to slowly trim out. It's way too low. And also, another thing that could be happening right now is if they got... So, the way Rod flies is through the
it's safe to say that if the altimeter hands stop moving and the needle in the
that's how Rod flies.
Points to 0, then you're in level flight.
Which I forget which one. There we go.
If the wings are also level, then you're in straight and level flight.
So you can see right down here the autopilot is turned on.
By looking at the attitude indicator.
Yeah, they're doing heading and altitude maintaining.
Airplanes are subject to
so that's how they do. Rod is flying.
Some try to pitch nose up, others try to pitch nose down. Use the trim control wheel to keep the airplane in the attitude you want. The trim control, or trim wheel as it's also called, is the little black wheel directly below the heading indicator. It's cleverly marked pitch, up, and down. This part takes a little bit of patience, so you might want to pause the simulator a bit to prepare your mind for the next subject. Press P to pause the simulation, and when your mind is ready, press P again to continue with the lesson.
So there it is. Right down there, that's the trim wheel.
Right now, the airplane is trimmed to stay at about 100 knots. Even if nobody were at the controls, the airplane would do its best to maintain 100 knots.
That says it's right below the heading indicator. I guess if we were in the cockpit view right now, we would have that.
Speed. I need you to do that now. Pull back gently on the stick until the airspeed reads 90 knots. Adjust the pitch slightly to maintain 90 knots.
Should be three clicks down. Should get it.
You will notice that we have to make tiny changes in the joystick to maintain 90 knots.
There we
No
go.
matter what,
That
you
should
can't
have
let
it.
go. If you do, the airplane will
Yes, I
pitch
can, 'cause I
down
know how to
until it
trim.
finds 100 knots again.
I do remember that part.
Carefully click the word up on the pitch trim wheel 3 times, or you could press the end key 3 times. Either way, the pointer on the right side of the wheel should be pointing at the middle of the 9 lines on the trim wheel. Carefully click the word up on the pitch trim wheel 3 times, or you could press the end key 3 times. Either way, the pointer on the right side of the wheel should be pointing at the middle of the 9 lines on the trim wheel.
Oof.
Speed up. Oops.
I trimmed it
You
out.
probably noticed that the airplane pitched up rather abruptly when you did that.
There we go.
You should be able to slowly relax the pressure you have been holding on the joystick, and the airspeed should settle at 90 knots. Whenever we make a change in the pitch of our airplane, like for climbs or descents, we use the trim to remove the pressure we have to hold on the stick.
Okay, so let's get
Instead
that
of us
back to
having hold the
2400
stick forward
RPM.
or back, we let
There's
aerodynamics
2400
do the
RPM.
work for us.
There
I've
we
got
go.
the airplane, so you just
Alright.
relax a bit. Okay, here's the big
That was a little
secret
rough.
about trim.
A little rough. I
When
got
an airplane
ahead
is
of
trimmed
myself.
for
That's why it
hands-off
happened.
flying and power changes are made, the airplane automatically changes pitch in an attempt to maintain the approximate airspeed for which it was last trimmed. This means that the nose will pitch down when you reduce power and pitch up when you
So
increase
right
power.
about there.
The airplane automatically changes pitch to maintain the airspeed for which it was last trimmed. So if you want to change airspeed in level flight by adjusting the throttle, you need to retrim the airplane once you're at the speed you want. Let's give this a try. When you reduce the power, the nose of the airplane wants to drop because the airplane still wants to fly at 100 knots. Don't let the nose drop. Keep
21
the airplane in
and
level
90.
flight as it decelerates by pulling back gently on the joystick and holding the altitude constant. Right now, the airplane is trimmed for 100 knots at its present power setting. I want you to pull the throttle back and set the power for 2100 RPM on the tachometer. The tachometer is located on the lower right-hand corner of the
It's a
instrument
hair more.
panel.
There's 2100.
2100 RPM will give us a speed of about 90
Now,
knots.
get my trim set. Should be balancing out right around 90. We're gonna go one more notch of trim up. See what happens there. That should
Now
balance
apply
this
sufficient
back.
nose-up trim to eliminate the control forces for level
Yeah.
flight at 90 knots.
That should be just about perfect. I should be right at 90. A little slow. We're gonna go ahead and give one notch of nose down. See what happens with that. Now. Yeah, negative.
Okay, let's try increasing our speed to 100 knots. Move the throttle forward and set the power to 2400 RPM. This time, the nose wants to rise. Keep the airplane in level flight as it accelerates by applying forward pressure on the joystick. Apply sufficient nose-down trim to eliminate the control forces for level flight at 100 knots.
All I'm doing is watching my vertical speed indicator. So every time the vertical speed indicator goes down to 0, then we're
Speed
good.
up.
If it goes too high, I need to go down. If it goes too low, I need to go up. So just slowly adjusting my trim. There we go.
Speed up. There you have it. That's how you trim during power changes in level flight. Okay,
There we go.
just to review.
Beautiful.
We have discussed what level flight looks like.
Beautiful. So
How
not
to
too
use
bad.
the joystick to change the pitch, how to trim, and how to use the trim while changing airspeed in level flight. Got that? I'm impressed with your performance. These are some of the most important topics in flying. Make sure you're comfortable before moving on. Rerun the lesson if you feel you need to. I don't mind. I'll be here all day, stuck in your computer. I love it in here.
There it is.
In our next lesson, we will learn how to make an airplane turn. Because, let's face it, unless the place you are going happens to be right in front of you, sooner or later, you're going to have to turn. For now, take a break, get up, and stretch your legs and flying arms. You might want to read the next few sections of the ground school, too. I'll be here when you're ready to start flying again.
All right, guys, there we go. So we had a little bit of a rough start there, but not too bad. So we learned straight and level today how to trim. I got ahead of the instructor there. That's why we messed up there at the beginning. But you know, I thought I knew more than I did, but the way the way the course is designed is for you to do it exactly how he's saying. Yes, what I did would have worked, but because I wanted to trim into a climb, but yeah, he wanted me to actually climb. So you know, we'll just keep that in mind moving forward. Other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching. Be good to each other as be good to yourselves. Hugs and shit. And now a word from our sponsor.
Watching. Do you want to support the channel for free? Like, comment, subscribe, and click the bell to stay up to date with the daily videos. Then you can head over to foxtrotdeltausn.com. Click on Partners and bookmark the Partners page. Every time you want to buy something on Amazon, just click your bookmark, then click the Amazon logo. Isn't that easy? It doesn't cost you a damn penny, and it helps the stream, so what are you waiting for? Also check out the Patreon, Discord, and Merc store. Be good to each other, be good to yourself. Hugs and shit, we'll see you in the next one.